It's a very comfortable feeling for people who are spatially challenged, and I'm in that group. Seeing a space and knowing what looks good, and even more importantly, and Janine will agree with this, what doesn't look quite right in a space. Janine, of course, is Janine Bryant from Changing Spaces SRS. Janine and her talented staff have that skill set. And every Sunday, Janine shares her experience with you on Easy Rightsizing on KFOR. Let's bring her in. Good morning, Janine.
Good morning, Dale. Hi there.
Talented people run with other talented people. So introduce your friend to our listeners this morning on Easy Rightsizing.
Yes, I've got a whole crew of talented folks that work for me at Changing Spaces SRS, and one of them is joining us this morning on the phone, Linda Carnes. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Dale.
Morning.
Hi there. Now, Linda, you have worked with us, I'm not even sure, is it 3 years or 4 years now?
3 years, right about now. I think I started in the fall.
The reason we brought Linda Carnes on is because our clients need help downsizing from a larger home to a smaller home. They need help figuring out what furniture is going to fit from their current house to their new house. And they have a hard time sometimes. I mean, you mentioned being spatially challenged, Dale. Most of us are, including me, honestly. It can be difficult to figure out what's going to look good in the new space when what's physically going to fit in the new space. And so throughout our 12 years, we have always offered that service of measuring a client's furniture and making a floor plan for them and helping them figure out what they should take and what they should leave behind. And my former business partner, Linda Cotter, she used to do those floor plans. And then there was a short while where I did those floor plans and I realized, you know what, I'm not very good at it. So Linda Carnes came aboard our team, and she is fantastic because she is a trained interior designer, aren't you, Linda?
Been in the business for over 40 years.
Figuring out what is going to look good in a space and what fits in a space comes easily to you. Would you say that's accurate?
It is a gift, yes.
And so, okay, first of all, can you tell us, why is the floor plan important for our clients that we bring, who are going through this downsizing transition? Sometimes I think it's easy for our clients to kind of think, oh, I don't really need a floor plan. I can kind of eyeball it. I'm just going to bring the basics. But why would you say that floor plan is important?
It helps you save time, energy, money. It's a de-stressor. Gives you peace of mind. It makes the whole process go a lot smoother.
Tell us about your process. When you first go into a client's home, how does all of that work?
Usually I start off by asking them to take me on a tour of their home and point out the things that they would like to take if I can make it work. And that is kind of how I start the process. So then we go through the home, choose the pieces that they would like to take, and then the process begins.
And are you always able to fit in everything that they want to take?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Most people are not realistic about what's going to fit. And some of them have worked on plans that they think will be workable, but they forget about the scale. And so this is the very most important thing, because the paper, the two-scale drawing does not lie. And so when we put that floor plan down and then measure their furniture and put the pieces into the room, and they know that a 1/4 inch is equal to a foot, and we start putting these things in, and there's no place to walk, it's very eye-opening.
Yes.
So then it's like, okay, we have to take out one of these chairs. Which one can you live without? And my goal is to get them to choose the things that they love the most, that is most comfortable for them, that would make them feel at home again, and to make it a very comfortable, functioning space for them to live in.
Yes. When sometimes I get that question during the initial consultation as well, which chair do you think I should bring? And I always say to the client, well, which chair do you sit in the most? Right? I mean, sometimes we get this idea that we should bring, only the prettiest furniture, but we do want the new place to look pretty, but we also want it to feel comfortable. So if you've got a lift chair that you always sit in, then boy, let's make sure that that's a priority, that comes with you. Okay, so talk about, is it sometimes difficult if a client wants to take way more than will fit in their home? And how do you kind of walk them through that process?
That's where diplomacy comes in. I have to kind of sit down with them and work through maybe what their daily activities might look like, what they might sit in, what they might work on what they might do, and that kind of clarifies things sometimes for them. It's like, okay, are you going to watch TV in this room? What chair do you like watching TV in? Do you have, like in the bedroom, it's like, is there a certain wall that you like your bed on? Some people are very particular about that.
Well, I was going to say another thing that I run into is a desk. Sometimes a client feels like, well, I got to bring a desk, but then you look at the desk in their home and it's obvious that they haven't used that desk in many months, and maybe they, the computer quote isn't working at the time, and then I try to have a conversation with them like, hey, if computer use is not a part of your daily life, then maybe we don't need to bring this huge roll top desk with you.
I try to do multifunctioning pieces so that if they can think out of the box a little bit, maybe we can use a dresser as a TV stand to give us extra storage if that's something they need. Or we can hang a TV on the wall if they want to have more display area for collectibles or whatever. But it's very individual.
And something else that you're great at, Linda, is thinking ahead of their future needs. So maybe that means that leaving enough space in the apartment to walk around safely, if there's going to be a walker in the future or a wheelchair. And that's something that's great that us lay people don't always think about. But as a designer, Linda, you're trained to think about not only the design of the space but the function of the space as well. And for our clients, that safety is key, and we've got to have enough room in between things for walkers and wheelchairs. And Linda, you're also great about area rugs, right? Like sometimes our clients want to bring area rugs.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Area rugs can definitely be a tripping hazard, and many clients are used to having them. I try to discourage them if I feel that it's not going to be a safe situation for them. Sometimes we can use them if they're small enough or are out of the way enough, but I try to discourage it if I believe it's going to be a safety hazard.
Okay, so then what does that final product look like? After you've kind of, you walk through the house, you take the measurements, you go back and you make that floor plan to scale, you bring it back to the client, and then what happens?
Well, then we sit down and I kind of go through each room with them, and I try to kind of tell a story. It's like, okay, we're going to enter your apartment or your home here, and then we kind of point out, here's where we put your sofa table, and then we walk into the living room, and we've got your lift chair here, we've got your TV here, and they just kind of can start visualizing what the space is going to look like. They can visualize them being in that space and enjoying that space. And I've done things a little different lately. I used to do the plan off-site and then come back, but what I have been doing lately, and I think it's working pretty well, I try to have the floor plan with me when I come to scale, and I involve the client in the process now.
Nice.
And so I think they enjoy it. It's a hands-on experience, and by the time I leave that day, they know what furniture is coming, where it's going to sit. I get them a copy as well as send one to Ashley, and I think it gives them peace of mind, because then they know, okay, this step of the journey is done. I know what's coming with me. I know what I'm going to be looking at, what I can fill, what I can put things on, and it helps them get ready for the next step when the next group of ladies come in and help them with the packing.
Linda, you tell me, is this a guy thing? When I walk into an empty room, I see electrical outlets, and I think, I can't put a bed here, or I can't put a dresser there. I don't want extension cords. Is that a guy thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's a practical thing. You've got to plug things in.
Yeah.
And you don't want cords running across walkways that you're going to trip on. So you do have to take
that into
type of thing
consideration.
into account.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's why it's great to have these professionals on your side and advocating for you and thinking about all of those things as you are transitioning into your new home to make sure that it's safe and comfortable. And boy, you know, she mentioned before, Dale, that having a floor plan saves you time and stress and money. And back in our early days, I know we didn't used to require a floor plan. We now require it because we had clients who thought, oh, I don't really need that. I don't need to pay extra for it. Now it's included in our package price because we see the value of it. And there were too many times when the movers brought over some furniture because the sister-in-law had measured and she thought, you know, that this couch would fit. And guess what? It doesn't. So then the movers had to take that couch back to the house, and it throws a whole wrench into moving day. It ends up, the mover's bill ends up being higher. Our team doesn't get to unpack and get out of there as quickly as we would be able to if things were organized. So I always say that floor plan is really a roadmap to make move day a whole lot less chaotic, and Linda is a great part of that. We couldn't do it without her.
Well, thank you.
Linda, thank you very much. This has been a pleasure. I appreciate you joining us on the phone and abiding by the distancing that we're all still living under. I appreciate that. One of these days we'll have you in and we'll look eye to eye and we'll chat some more.
Well, that
okay?
would be wonderful.
That would be wonderful. Janine, how can people get a hold of your book, which is an important way for people to either get introduced to your service or become more familiar if they are aware of it a little bit deeper?
Yeah, my book, it's called Ready to Rightsize, and it is a great place to start. If you or a family member is thinking about going through the downsizing process, this is a great place to start. It's available on Amazon.com. Just search for Ready to Rightsize, and you can have it delivered right there to our door.
Free right-sizing tips, videos, and resources at easyrightsizing.com. And new online auctions when they are available, which you are booking your auctions.
Yep, that's on our business website, which is changingspacessrs.com. That's where you can find out more about our senior move management services. You can also shop our online auctions, and we're having in-person estate sales as well. So you can find out a whole bunch of information by going there.
You're also invited every Sunday morning to join us on Easy Rightsizing.